us on the program.
How are you,
Hey there,
Jack?
Brian. You're doing fantastic. I noticed there's a black on the screen right up over here because I can't see you up and onto the other side.
Yeah,
But I can hear you. I can hear you well though.
perfect.
So happy opening day to you, man. It's exciting. What what a day it's got to be. So opening day, right? It's the traditional like kids on Christmas type of sound that you make when the spring is in the air, the and the weather's great. So what's a opening day memory that you'll never forget? You cling on to that really gets you excited for baseball season.
I think just getting out of the rut and the routine of spring training every day. I remember like the flyovers for the planes, like things like that are the things that I really remember distinctly. And it's just the start, and everybody's in first place at that point. So for me, it was all about like, what are we going to do with this season? What kind of momentum are we going to carry into the year, and have some fun in the process.
So Giants and Yankees tonight. This is the first time they'll be on Netflix.
Yep,
I'm curious to see what the numbers and ratings will be because
sure.
this is the first time they're rolling this out. But you know, the Yankees, they're a team that really I have question marks about because one, I thought it was interesting that they made a move to where they have Trent Grisham being the opening day starter instead of Jason Dominguez, who had been on fire in the preseason.
Yeah.
So there's that. But Aaron Judge is fresh from the World Baseball Classic. And I would tend to argue, and I don't know your thoughts up on this, but I feel like our United States team, I give credit to the entirety of the pitching staff. And I hate to sound this way, but excluding Tariq Skubal in this regard to that respectfully. And I felt like if we couldn't get any hits with Bobby Witt and then Aaron Judge swinging and whipping, that was what was going to be tough for the United States to come away with the gold. When you think about this, what do you think are picturing in Aaron Judge's head to where now he's coming into the season and what he needs to do for the Yankees this year?
Well, I think we were just talking about this last week. I think it's really tough to go out there and have the mindset of we're trying to win this whole thing as a group of, basically like all stars, and at the same time temper it down a little bit to be prepared so that you're ramping up at the right time for the season to start. So really difficult to do, in my opinion, to make sure you're getting enough reps and not going overboard, not trying to go a little bit harder than you need to go. I think he's always been traditionally kind of a slow starter, and then he gets hot. So I think he'll be fine, to be honest with you. I thought that as well as like just their passion that they showed in that championship. I love that.
Yes.
I thought just that couldn't have played out any better. A lot of people were kind of upset with the end of it, but like that's why you keep coming back to the game. So I love the ending of that series, to be honest.
Yeah, and I felt like, as professionals, right? I mean, there's contracts, there's clauses, there's all this other stuff. But I
Sure.
know that when you're in the global stage, right? Like I think of it this way. We had a great start to the 26th year because we watched the US hockey team, both men's and women's, come away with gold. We
Yep.
watched the WBC to where you watch all these other countries compete. And you look at the international talent pool, it's growing larger and vastly quickly. So I felt like that there were guys that won. If you're committed to playing in this thing, give it your all because you're representing your country. If you're
Agreed.
not, that's your choice. You don't have to compete in this. But I have a tough time that when you come and compete, and then you just basically have a start, and then you're coming back up into Detroit. But the
Right.
thing is, Brian, it's 162 games a year. The first 3 months are more of have fun, enjoy the weather, get some wins, get yourself the momentum. Because
Right.
by the time you get into August, September, October, it's go time. That's
Correct.
the only time that people want to really tune in. Tell me, what would you think? Like if you were in this position, right, and you had this choice. I mean, yeah, there are clauses. I feel like in contracts, there should be ones that if you compete in this, like just know what you're going to get yourself into. And I get it that these guys don't want to go out for the end of the season, but at the same time, you're at the start of this thing. So you only have a couple games to compete in, and then you can rest up a majority of the time.
Yeah, I think the timing of it is really what makes it tough. But, at the same time, the Venezuelan players or the Dominicans or the Mexicans, I mean, they're under the same kind of thought process. So when you put it in the terms of not necessarily where we want to prevent you from playing in it, but when this might be my contract year and I need to really go out with a bang this year, that might maybe prevent somebody from really wanting to go out there and getting on that stage and maybe kind of taking a pass in that regard. Yep. I never had a chance to do that. I almost had a chance to make the 2000 Olympic team, and then I got called up, and that kind of excluded me from being in that mix. But no, I think it's just such a neat experience, no matter how you cut it. And I applaud the guys that took the time to go out there and do it. Are some of them maybe going to be behind a little bit as a result because they didn't get enough reps in spring training, maybe? But you live and you learn, I guess.
So, so obviously everybody, wants to take their shots at the LA Dodgers. Oh, they got all this money. They got the cash cow, Shohei Ohtani. But here's the thing. I was talking with many different pros from Michael McKinry, Logan Morrison, multiple people. And I asked about this because we know the salary cap deal is going to be coming. And I would make the argument that, and I thought Pat Murphy, the longtime scout, said it best. You get yourself a salary cap and a floor because ultimately it's pushing for a lot of these organizations like Pittsburgh, like the A's, like the Nationals. You got to spend more because I would make the argument in life and in businesses. If you spend more, you will see the difference in quality. That's why you spend the money that you do, because they don't think about, look at how much you will save in the long run because you dealt with this problem early. So I would tend to think, don't hate the Dodgers. Hate the fact that they found a way to manipulate this system and the financial stuff because, look, I work in a government job. I know deferred comps. I know about putting money in the back half. So with the salary cap, does it better relieve the issue because everybody keeps thinking, lockout and all that? Because to me, I don't want to be benefiting more of the owners because if you're an owner, you're putting the money on the table. The GM, the manager, they're going to be the ones to pick and choose and scout all these players. They're going to put the lineup there. So how do you see this really impacting in this game?
I think it's something that needs to be done. I mean, it's not something fun necessarily, but I've never seen a team get sold for a loss. So you're always going to appreciate it, and it's a hard sell. We're in Tampa Bay, and I know they're getting a new stadium here. If you have a winning organization and they know that you're fighting to always be trying to get into the playoffs, then that's an easier sell to the client base and your fan base when they know, hey, we're here for the long term. It's not like we're just trying to play you against another city. So for me, I think you're going to be much more competitive across the board. I agree with you, rather than getting competitive draft picks as a result or something along those lines. So I think it's something that needs to be done. I mean, kudos to the Dodgers that they found the loophole that they did. To be honest with you, I thought the Blue Jays should. I mean, if there's a better secondary lead off at third base last year, then we're having a different story, to be honest. So, neither here nor there. I think this year is going to be a very competitive year. I'm excited about the start of the season.
I was thinking about this because the San Diego Padres, you pitched with this team for 3 years. And to me, they have really been on various waves for years. I mean, the years of which the late Tony Gwynn, I loved watching that team with Ken Caminiti and many others. And then, you kind of get this rebuild feel where you still got some stars, but it felt like they were really working in the system. But now you're in a competitive league, okay? And you're in a competitive division with the Dodgers up top. The Giants get themselves a bat, and we'll see what they look like tonight. But Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, these are the main guys. And then you look at, a Jake Cronenworth and these guys. What does it need for them, for the Padres to really compete in this, to be scrappy? Because they always felt like those rule breakers in high school, right? Yeah. Like you have no idea how they're even getting away with it, but yet they're that smart that they're winning up in these games. Can that model really takes surprise for teams like Dodgers and others in the National League?
I think if their pitching stays consistent and they stay healthy, I think a couple of years ago, alluding to your point, with Soto in there and Bogarts, and I think they had a little bit too many alpha males around, and there wasn't a lot of cohesiveness, to be honest with you. There was a ton of talent, but who was, where in the pecking order in the clubhouse and such. And so I think that they kind of addressed that the last couple of years. I think they are going to be a lot more streamlined version of themselves. And I think if the pitching staff, the years that you mentioned with Caminiti and Gwynn and what have you, they had deep starting pitching. Their bullpen was solid. You turned it over to Trevor at the end. They had offense. They had some speed on the top of the order. I think if they do something along those lines, I mean, we had that in 2008 with Tampa Bay here. So I think if you just have chemistry, and I think that's something that they've lacked a little bit the last couple of years. So I think if the chemistry's there from the top to the bottom, I think they'll compete very well in the NL West this year.
Absolutely. Brian, appreciate you for coming on by. Quick take. Who do you think is going to be the surprise of this MLB season that we least expected? I'll give you mine. I think the Kansas City Royals really are going to be that scrappy team after I watched Caglione and Pasquantino in the WBC.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we were talking about this a couple days ago. If the Pirates promote some people that are in the AAA level, Chandler, Connor Griffin, some of these guys that are coming up, and then Skeens maybe sees that like they're dedicated to winning down the road, they could be an interesting one. I think the Orioles have been kind of bubbling. If their pitching does what they're supposed to, I think they could be really a cool team to watch this year as well.
I'll keep my tabs up and on it, man. Brian, appreciate you for coming on by, man. Looking good. Very happy of the post-surgery, man, that you're doing well.
Yes, sir.
Happy opening day up and into you, man. This should be an exciting season. Enjoy the game, and we'll see what the season gives us this year.
You as well, Jake. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. There you go, folks.